And 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining, as always. I do appreciate your time and attention while I'm joining this channel. Today, we're going to do something slightly different. And by different, I mean, holy crap, this is going to be different. I've not done this. I mean, I have done this type of reading before, and it's something I did within the circles of people I practice with. So we're going to give this a go on this channel instead. So what we're doing is we're asking a question about what's going to take place within, the geopolitics of, the Western world or wherever. And for this one, we're going to talk about the elections. November elections coming up very, very soon for people in the United States. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen. So before we get started, order of the day, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding those notification bells so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And if you would like a personal reading with me, one that is in tune with your specific energies, feel free to reach out to me. Fill out that Google Docs located in the description box below and in the profile of this page. And we'll go ahead and get you sorted for that. So I'm going to scoot in just a little bit, just to try to see what I can get done here. We're going to look at Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Now, I hope I don't get flagged by YouTube for mentioning any of those names, but we're going to just see what's the likelihood of one or the other becoming, the next leader of the United States, what's going to be the aftermath of it, and then what are going to be some of the main policies that they will implement. I'm going to go ahead and use Rider-Waite for this, and if any of the other cards need to go in here, I'll probably use the Nightmare Before Christmas, or hopefully not the Nightmare Before the election season, to clarify. So we're going to go ahead and begin, and let's see what happens. Divine Spirit, please show me the results of the 2024 U.S. elections. Please show me the results of the November U.S. elections. Please show me the results of the U.S. November elections. Please show me the results of the November 2024 U.S. elections. Please show me the results of the November 2024 U.S. elections. Please show me the results of the November U.S. elections 2024. Right. So let's begin. May the force be with us. Kamala Harris. What is the likelihood that Kamala Harris will win the U.S. elections this year? What's the likelihood that? Okay. All right. What is the likelihood that Donald Trump will win the U.S. elections? What's the likelihood that Donald Trump will win the U.S. elections? If I giggle too much in this, reading, just please bear with me. I promise you, I'm over the age of 18, and I do have somewhat of a conscience. What is the aftermath of Kamala Harris's 2024 election bid? What is the aftermath of the U.S. presidential bid for Donald J. Trump? Okay. What is the policy, the main policy for Kamala Harris? And what is the overall policy for Donald Trump? Okay. So we have some very interesting cards coming out here at the bottom of the deck. For the time being, what we have right now is most of the people in the United States are sitting on a knife's edge with the Nine of Swords. It's going to be a very tense election in which a lot of people are going to be sat at the edge of their seats waiting to see what the results are going to be. So looking into this, what we find is a lot of people are going to be in Nine of Swords, which means that this event is almost over. Before you get to the Ten of Swords, where things get as bad as they can get. The swords tend to talk about intelligence. It also talks about conversations, communication, strategy, things of that nature. So I feel that this is going to be one of the most intense election cycles in the history of US elections to date. So I'm going to just read what the cards say. Before I get started, please do not take this as gospel or that this is going to, it could happen, may not. I'm doing this for fun. I'm just testing my ability to actually read these cards. We're just going to look at this, read the story that the cards have to say. I will use clarifiers to get more information on this. And then from there on out, things can change. The beauty of tarot is that it's not set in stone. New events develop. This takes a snapshot of things as they sit right now. So, what we have here, let me clarify quickly. I know this is kind of a bit crazy, but we have some very interesting developments taking place here. Right. So what I see here in this reading is that we have a clear winner amongst Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump. Well, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Clarify, Ace of Wands, reverse. So we got the Nine of Swords here twice. Clarify the Two of Cups. All right, so what we've got here, Donald J. Trump is the clear winner of the 2024 elections. He got the Two of Cups in this reading. And this is clarified by the moon. So it's basically going to be illuminated very, very soon. There's no mystery about it, that people are going to choose him for this election cycle. And the reason for that is for the simple reason, you have the moon reverse, and then the aftermath of all of this is basically a clear, decisive victory for him. Clarify, Two of Swords, reverse. So what I get is that a lot of people in the United States are quite fed up. The reason why they're fed up is because possibly, the geopolitical climate, maybe the fact that the economy is really in bad shape. It's gone in a bad way in the US, in their opinion, in their eyes. And they just don't want to give to anymore. I guess they don't want to give to any halfway measures. And we can clarify that a little bit more. Clarify that Two of Swords reverse one more. So I got the Six of Pentacles in the reverse and the Justice in the reverse, clarifying the Two of Swords in the reverse. So what we have here is that there's a lack of balance in the way that power is distributed across the United States. People are going to feel that. The people who think that things are going to go fine with Democrats are going to be in the minority, because there's more people upset about the lack of jobs. It's going to be more people upset about what's taking place, with the wars, issues dealing with immigration, things of that nature. Those will be the people who will vote in the majority during this election cycle, because we do have the Justice in the reverse, which indicates a sincere feeling of unfairness or a lack of balance in power, or even the fact that, there's no balance between powers, between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative. So it's almost like there's a dysfunction when you have Justice in the reverse, similar to the Temperance in the reverse, which is about being unbalanced and unsettled. With Kamala Harris, we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. People will lose interest in her. This could be due to the Nine of Swords in the reverse. We got that. So we had the Nine of Swords in the upright here. with Kamala Harris is going to be the Nine of Swords in the reverse, clarifying the Ace of Wands in the reverse. She's a lackluster candidate, which is what I'm getting here. At the bottom of the deck, I have the Knight of Swords. It's going to just kind of create a bit of backlash against the the Democratic Party. A lot of confidence, was lost during, the whole tenure of Joe Biden. And people are going to expect for her to have a more sincere and thorough approach to the election cycle because there are real problems to solve now. There can no longer be any issues about identity politics because you have people across the political spectrum, especially Generation Z, who are pivoting back into a more conservative bent or more conservative nature, especially the men. They are going to want real solutions. They want to come out of this period of kind of mental chaos. They want things to come back to a period of peace. With the Page of Wands in the reverse, that's another card of just losing interest. So I have the Ace of Wands and the Page of Wands and the King of Wands, all for Kamala Harris. Ironically, these are, one of them is a card of authority. We'll get into that soon. But this is the beginning, middle, and end. When we come to the aftermath of everything, people are just gonna, how when you see a movie and the movie's shit and people walk out of the theater because they expected more from that person or from that film or from that show. That's going to be similar to the reaction that people will get for Kamala Harris. She has not debated, to my knowledge, what she wants to say against Donald Trump. I think part of that is due to her complete lack of experience when it comes to doing things in the political sphere. I'm going to clarify this just to see what's going on. Clarify the Page of Wands reverse. Knight of Cups reverse. So we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. That's clarified by the Knight of Cups in the reverse, King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords. So firstly, before we get to that, we want to talk a little bit about the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a communicator card. What people will say is that she's poor at communicating. And oftentimes the rebuttals that she'll have will be like, kind of like it wasn't really well spoken, well thought out. When she has to communicate about something, it will be a bit childish because that's what the Page of Wands in the reverse is about. Whereas Donald Trump may come off a bit more like he knows what he's talking about in the scope of the voter base in which he is appealing to. Now, for me personally, I'm not taking a position on this. I have to be neutral when it comes to reading the cards. And what I want to just say is that, this is an exercise of democracy amongst the American people, and they have to choose what is the best option for them. That said, the aftermath of the election cycle for Kamala Harris is that she's just going to get into a period where she's just kind of emotionally cut off. She's going to use tactics of manipulation. And she may even just kind of, because we have the King of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Swords. She's going to start speaking more about the economy. And she's going to start talking about things in the regards of, oh, well, we need to fix the economy. We need to do this, this, and this. And then she's going to have this Queen of Swords energy, which is kind of like a bit frosty, not willing to cooperate with the opposition. So even if she's to continue later on, what she has to kind of see is that many people need clarity on what the direction of the United States is going to go, and they want to focus on the economy. Those are going to be two big questions posed to her. What is your policy? Queen of Swords, that's the aftermath. What is your policy, and how are you going to actually create a solid plan? King of Pentacles, how are you going to get people back into jobs, and how are you going to get people working? So on her side, when people find out that she's lost, these are the reactions that they're going to have against her. What do we do next? How do we create a solid plan? And how do we get the economy going back again? Now, when we go to these policies that people are going, the two candidates are going to have or that they're going to propose, we have firstly Donald Trump's side, we have the Seven of Wands clarified by the High Priestess, and what else? Okay, and the Five of Wands in the reverse. So we have Seven of Wands. He's going to stand for a strong position in the United States. He's going to say, we need a leader who's going to be courageous. We need a leader that's going to fight for the American people. We need a leader that's going to stand up. And that's going to be the thing that resonates with the voter base in the United States. 330 million people, roughly. He's going to attack things like defense and borders and strength of the country. He's going to say we need to close the borders. He's going to say that we need to strengthen the military so that no one messes with us, because that's a Seven of Wands card. That's defending yourself from opponents, people that will want to take your position as number one spot. That comes after the Six of Wands, which is the victory card and getting that number one position. And then he's going to talk mostly about defending that position, America first. With the Five of Wands, he's going to also talk about eliminating some of the conflicts around the world because there are too many conflicts. He will lash out about Ukraine. He's going to also say that we need to stop sending money to places that we're using to kind of defend strategic positions around the world. We need to kind of make sure that we're not creating an unstable world where there are too many conflicts taking place. And then the High Priestess, that's about being knowledgeable about important information. So he will probably talk a lot about national security. And national security is going to take quite a bit of precedence in his speeches, in his policy, especially when it comes to sharing information with foreign powers, and additionally securing the borders as well. I'm going to clarify that with one more card. Yep. Oh wow. Okay, so we have the Two of Presents, the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Ten of Wands in the reverse. He's going to start speaking a lot about the fact that Americans are shouldering the burdens of countries around the world that they shouldn't have to shoulder. He wants to eliminate the burdens that he feels the American people carry, which is supporting other people from foreign countries, supporting foreign powers around the world, and spending our money on things that we don't want to spend money on. Because we have that with the Two of Pentacles. He feels that the country has dropped the ball under President Biden, and he wants for people to get back into a position where they're no longer burdened or saddled with things like hyperinflation, debt. He wants to kind of get rid of the debts that we owe to other nations as well. Now, on Kamala Harris's side, what we have here, we have the King of Wands reverse. And I'm going to be honest, the King of Wands is someone who is a game player. So she is going to clarify the King of Wands reverse. Clarify the King of Wands reverse. Okay. All right. One more. Clarify the King of Wands reverse. Okay, so 4 cards have come out. I'll read these as I see them. We have the Chariot reversed, we have the Hermit, we have the King of Cups, and we have the Six of Swords. So I'm going to read this as I would see it in the form of a foreign policy, or the form of a policy in general. So she's going to appeal to the emotional sentiment of the American people. She's going to say, we need more loving, we need more freedom and democracy. She'll speak more in platitudes because she's not really knowledgeable. I hate to say, I'm getting the impression she's not as knowledgeable about running a country as she should be. So she'll speak on the emotional level. King of Cups. We have to hold it together. We have to, come on, guys. We need to be a country that, preaches hope, not hate, and things like that. We need to be good to everyone, and we need to continue and show. It's going to be platitudes, but it won't be anything solid. I'm not under the impression that she's able to cite statistics or things that were done based on a scientific level. Under Trump, he's gonna appeal to people with a fiery nature, but instead of just using the fire, he's gonna say, this happened, that happened, these statistics, that statistics. I think his advisors will probably inform him a lot more about what he should and should not say while in his speech. He took advantage of that multiple times when he debated with Joe Biden, and it reflected in his capability. So he's learned his lesson from past mistakes. Whereas I think Kamala Harris will take a more solipsistic approach. She has the Hermit. She's going to say that America is feeling a bit too isolated as a country based on the policies of Donald Trump. She's going to say, because of this Hermit energy, she's going to say Donald Trump has basically ruined the relationships that the United States has had with all of its allies. And under Joe Biden, he was able to strengthen that, blah, blah, blah. At my time as vice president, I've seen us build relationships with our European allies. We've been stronger under NATO, things of that nature. And we don't want to go back to an isolationist period, which was very similar to what, which is kind of reflects what Donald Trump and his position was when he was in power from 2016 to 2020. Under Trump, he wanted to get out of NATO. He wanted to get out of the parts of the UN, and he wanted to put America first. So she's going to bring up this isolationist attitude that he's got about global policies, and this is in turn going to appeal to her voter base. She's also going to mention the Chariot reverse, which talks a lot about the progress, because she is a progressive. She's going to say, under the Democrats, we've made more progress with racial tensions, with society arguing for LGBT rights and other things like that. So her policy is going to be mainly about the progress that a lot of Americans have made under the Democrats' tenure, and under Biden and what's going on and so on and so on. And what she is going to argue for is that we don't want to regress back into the periods of Jim Crow or any other periods where the racial tensions were very high. Now, she will have the burden of proof to explain that to people, because what she doesn't want to do is to speak about that and then have other issues crop up which would negate what she's trying to explain to the public. We then have the Six of Swords. This is moving forward into calmer waters. She's going to appeal to her voter base by saying, look, we need to move forward America as a society into a better state of being, a more progressive state. We need to go ahead and tackle these problems in human society. And again, most of what she is going to communicate is going to be in a mention of platitudes and of euphemisms. And it's not necessarily going to reflect the hardcore realpolitik that people are going to demand in this particular saga. So As it stands, keep in mind, I don't want to trigger a lot of people. As it stands in the current development of the human timeline, we have Donald J. Trump clearly appealing to the masses, and then Kamala Harris coming up as a bit lackluster and inexperienced. Page of Wands in the reverse is also a very inexperienced person because they can channel that negative Sagittarian energy, which is kind of being a know-it-all and being a bit too incapable of communicating on a deeper level. Card of advice, card of advice. What cards of advice have you got? Okay, advice for the US 2024 elections. Advice for the US 2024 elections. Advice. Okay. The first card of advice we get is don't let pride get in your way. Full moon in Leo. This can be taken two ways. Now, either A, both of the candidates are going to have to make sure that pride doesn't get in their way, or that they don't display a large amount of ego that is going to disrupt their chances of winning. So both of them can take caution on that. I think you'll see a more reserved Donald Trump, and you'll see a bit more commanding Kamala Harris. I think she'll try to take a stronger point of leadership because she's not had to, she has not, to my knowledge, shown a strong sense of leadership in the past. And that's just my personal opinion. It's just because I'm very uninformed as to what she's done in the leadership role that she has. And I don't mean that as a slagging off. I mean, it's hard for me to pinpoint her specific policies. What's another one? Okay, what's more advice for the election cycle, 2024 US? Okay. So as I was saying before, nothing is yet set in stone. This is the mutable moon, which means that things can change at any moment. My personal opinion on that is that there could be something that happens. There could be a strong disruption that stops the election cycle. There could be a strong change in someone's leadership based on actions that they take. So, for instance, Kamala Harris could say or do something that disrupts her chances of winning. Likewise for Donald Trump. So nothing is set in stone. This is a predictive reading based on the current energies right now. You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. This is a card of service. So I almost get that as advice for the American people. I think America's taken quite a bit of a knock on its confidence over the last few years, the last few decades, say that. It's because they see their power as a nation waning, and with all of the chaos that's been sown around many Western countries, it's going to kind of be incumbent for many of them to take a more assertive approach when it comes to dealing with the divisiveness and the issues that the American people are concerned about. Remember, these are elected officials used to represent the interest of the American people and to take those policies into play. So what I hope happens is that the American people, and this is something that I can say, both from a US perspective and a UK perspective, is that in both countries, people need to realize their true worth, their true value, and their true capabilities as a nation, as a people who make up a nation. And I think it's strongly important for people, no matter what happens in the outcome of this elections, to remain civil and to work for the betterment of the society in which they serve, in whatever capacity that is. So it's good, as I said, the Nine of Swords, when that came out initially, that was to me a clear indication that there's going to be some very strong emotions running high during the process of the election cycle. Now, under the prediction that Donald Trump wins it, I appeal for cool heads because it's going to send shockwaves to the entire world. So that's what I've got here. I can't really get too much else into it. I just wanted to do that for fun, just to see what's going to happen. This has once again been Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much. If you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And if you would like a personal reading with me, one that is in tune with your specific energies, I will be more than happy to help you with that. Just fill out the Google Docs located in the description box below, and I'll be able to sort that for you. So thanks so much again. Till next time, love and light, and peace be with you.